Good afternoon. My name is Martin Cowart, and welcome to the Financial Mystic Sanctuary for our noonday meditation and contemplative prayer. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about anger and how do we channel that anger into contemplative action, into rightful action, into making a difference, into creating a peaceful tomorrow. And this morning's meditation from Richard Rohr reflected on some teachings of a member of his faculty, Barbara Holmes. And I thought it made for some very good thought and conversation for today's meditation. As hello, Derso, and it looks like is a friend Mike Gilbert for joining us. Thank you for joining us today. And thank you for saying hello. If you're joining me, please just put your name and say hello in the chat box so I know you're here. It helps me. I'm always delighted to know who's here. Otherwise, I just see numbers. But I appreciate the numbers of people who join me, and we come together to contemplate, to pray, to meditate, to let go of the drama, to let go of to feel into the anger. When we talk about contemplative anger, we're going to feel our way into a deeper interior through our anger. That's what I do. Sometimes I kind of almost like find the anger in my body and sort of channel my energy through the anger to a deeper reservoir within myself. Good to see you too, Michael. Great to have you here today. It's always a joy. And we're so glad you're here. And there's my dear friend, Audrey Smalls. Always great to have you here. And thank you for joining us. We're talking about how we channel our anger, our frustration, and all of our. I mean, many of us are to the point of rage at the injustice that it's gone on for our lifetime, since before our lifetime, and it's time to come to an end. And just maybe, there's enough of us who are transforming this anger into action to make a more peaceful world. We have wonderful leaders. I mean, we can go back to Buddha, to Jesus, to Gandhi, to Martin Luther King, Harvey Milk, Nelson Mandela, all beautiful examples of a nonviolent resistance to the empire, if you will. And that's what we're here about. We're here to take that anger, which is a good energy, actually, if it's channeled properly. If it's used for violence, that is going into the drama. What we want to do is we want to come out of the drama through meditation and prayer. We want to release ourselves and quiet the mind from that from our desire. The ego loves drama, and it will look for any opportunity it can to engage in the drama, to provoke, to encourage it, because it kind of, quite frankly, our egos get kind of bored with sort of ordinary things that we find extraordinary when we open our hearts to them. And that is it. See God, divine within. God separate the light from the darkness. Yes, He did. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. She's good to see you here, Julian. So glad you could join us today. Because I don't think any of us that have an open heart and a sense of passion aren't feeling a sense of outrage, of almost fury. I know I am from I can't even look at the video anymore of it. It's just so infuriating, because it just breaks my heart, quite frankly. It just breaks my heart. That's how I'm feeling. I've gotten past the anger to the grief. I am heartbroken, as I think many of you are, and many of the people I speak with. We're heartbroken that we as a people would actually allow this kind of injustice to happen in broad daylight on camera. And thank God we're taking that anger into peaceful protests on the street as a way to channel it for change, channel it for new legislation, putting people in power who share our compassion, who share our passion for a more peaceful tomorrow. So let's see what Barbara Holmes has to say about that today. And thank you for joining me. And that's what we do. That's what meditation is for. That's what contemplative action is. It's stopping for a few minutes, taking a break from the drama, and allowing ourselves to get still, quiet the mind, quiet the ego thinking mind, the monkey mind, from jumping from thought to thought to thought to thought. And you know what the ego likes to do? It wants to fix it. It wants to blame people. It wants to blame the other, and it wants to fix things. And you know what? There really isn't anyone to blame. We're all part of what created this. So if we can transcend, if you will, for lack of a big word, if we can transcend and include, by the way, the ego thinking mind and all its drama into a higher realm of love consciousness, what I call the creative aware mind, which is what we go in and tap into during meditation, then we have an opportunity to listen for some guidance. And how do we take this anger and we transform it into action that's going to be good? Yes, he is. He's being buried next to his mom, who he shouted out for in his dying breath. George Floyd is being buried next to his mom. May they both rest in peace. And certainly his death is not in vain. We are, and let's just let, and when we meditate today, I'm just going to say a few words of special intention for George, and all the others who have died just for being themselves, just for being human, just for being beautiful human beings. And that's why we're so outraged. You know, that's why we're so outraged. So let's see what they say. Let's see what people wiser than me have to say. I'm reading from Richard Rohr's Daily Meditation. Richard Rohr, as you may or may not know, he is a Franciscan brother. He is also a Roman Catholic priest. He's a modern day mystic and contemplative teacher and leader in the world. And he runs something called the Center for Action and Contemplation in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And he puts out a daily meditation that are just quite lovely, very supportive. And today, in this week, he's talking about contemplation and racism. And today, he titles his meditation, Contemplating Anger. I have learned to use my anger for food. Without it, we would not be motivated to rise to a challenge. It's an energy that compels us to define what is just and unjust. That was Gandhi. And if ever there was a leader in modern day of nonviolent resistance against the empire, it is Gandhi. Today, Richard Rohr's colleague and CAC faculty member, Barbara Holmes, shares reflections on a theology of anger. Her words are challenging for white Americans like myself, but an important stage of contemplative solidarity is the ability to set aside our own opinions to listen with an open heart to the pain of the marginalized. I hope we can hear Dr. Holmes' wisdom and desire for healing from the wounds of racism. This is what she has to say. We all need a way to channel and reconcile our anger with our faith. A theology of anger for communities under siege assumes that anger as a response to injustice is spiritually healthy. My intent, Barbara's intent, is to highlight 3 ways that anger can contribute to spiritual restoration. First, a theology of anger invites us to wake up from the hypnotic influences, unrelenting oppression, so that individuals and communities can shake off the shackles of denial, resignation, and nihilism. I'm going to read that again, the first one. First, a theology of anger invites us to wake up from the hypnotic influences of unrelenting oppression so that individuals and communities can shake off their shackles of denial, resignation, and nihilism. That's number one. Number two, second, a theology of anger can help us to construct healthy boundaries. Finally, the third, the healthy expression of righteous anger can translate communal despair into compassionate action and justice seeking. Isn't that what we're experiencing today by so many people around the world, particularly right now in America? People who are willing to put on masks and break down some social distancing, to put their lives at risk during this pandemic, to get out in peaceful protest. That is courageous. And I want to just acknowledge them for that courage to get out and protest. And I'm glad they're wearing masks. I wish they could be, I guess it'd just be almost impossible to be 6 feet apart. But I just want to acknowledge their courage for getting out and doing that, being heard. The question is whether or not we will recognize our wounds and the source of our anger so that we can heal ourselves and others and awaken to our potential to embody the beloved community. Isn't that what we're creating? A more peaceful, a beloved community of people, of humankind? Isn't it about time? Isn't it about time we rebuilt and reimagined a new world economic system that was grounded in the truth of who we are as loving, creative beings, full of compassion, empathy, and abundance? There's no scarcity. We don't have to fight for our piece of the pie. There's plenty for all. There's plenty. There's more than enough. We just need to feel into it. Creative and productive anger redirects our attention to everyday survival and healing of our community. Sometimes the anger of Black folks is resistance, but more often it is grief. Boy, is that true. We start with our anger. But once the anger subsides, I find always under that, I'm feeling some deep sadness. Sadness for the loss of those relationships, not just for myself, but for everybody. For everybody. That loss of relationship, that loss of community, that loss of connection. I look out my window right now and look around my neighborhood. I'm so blessed to live in a neighborhood that looks like the dream of Martin Luther King. I look out, I see gay couples with kids. I see Black and white mixed couples with kids. I see Black couples with kids. I see white couples with kids. I see Latin American, and they're all playing, holding hands, living joyfully and peacefully and happily together, appreciating the very fabric of each other's unique skills and backgrounds. That's the dream Martin Luther King talked about from his speech. When the Black boy and the white girl could hold hands and just enjoy life together. That's what people are missing. That's what we want people to wake up to, the joy of community, the joy of a peaceful and loving community. Then we can see and appreciate what everybody brings to the table, how beautiful it all is. During a demonstration in Minneapolis, Minnesota, I didn't realize that this was again Minneapolis, Minnesota, after the police shot an unarmed Black man in 2016, Pastor Danny Gibbons of Above Every Name Ministry publicly and peacefully challenged the governor of Minnesota. He shouted into a microphone these words: "Your people keep killing my people. You keep telling me that you're going to do something. I just want you to put some action on it. Put some respect on our people's names. This isn't black anger. This is black grief." Pastor Gibbons wanted the governor to understand their grief, anger, and black joy are hard to separate. At funerals of young people slain by the police, expressions of black joy are common. This is not a joy in the ordinary sense of the word. This is the communal performance of resistance and resilience through dancing and rhythmic music and movement. Funeral car doors fly open, music is thumping, and the community dances in defiance of death and the society that produces it. Lord, I hope today that people are coming out and dancing and joyfully celebrating the life and the community of the Black people around George Floyd. Whatever that looks like, I can't be there physically, but I am with you spiritually. And as Mike Gilbert suggested, let's make this meditation all about not just George Floyd, but all people who've been killed out of injustice, but particularly right now about George Floyd, because who we're laying to rest today. We are angry, we are grieving, we are performing black joy as our sign of our determination to survive. Wow. Wow. It closes with the following: what is the anger and the grief arising in you today? What actions of resilience and justice can you take? What actions of what actions of resilience and justice can you take? Yes, Michael, I cannot agree more. And I'm just going to trust in spirit. Whatever happens is going to happen from a place of love and grief and joy, deep, deep, the deep joy of human life. Because life is precious. It is precious. And everyone matters. Black, white, gay, straight, we all matter. Life is precious. It is precious. So let me set our meditation timer and let's have 20 minutes of silent prayer and meditation in honor of George today, George Floyd. So start by raising your arms in the air and just opening up your heart. Let's all reflect a deeper level of compassion right now in this moment. With compassion, open your hearts and your arms and feel into whatever you're feeling, invite it into your body. Yes, the remainder of our journey is up to us. So open your arms in celebration for the life of George Floyd. And we are in peaceful, nonviolent resistance against the empire. And let's meditate on that. Let's meditate on that. Bring your hands Bring one hand down and put it on your belly, and bring one hand and put it on your heart. And just for a moment, I want to invite you to to feel the life within your body, the heartbeat as it mixes with the air from outside to the blood within to create life energy within you and within me. Open up your belly and breathe deep into it and feel the energy of letting go. We hold a lot of tension in our bellies, a lot of anger. Just begin to notice where you might be holding some tension and let it go. Surrender for the love of George. Surrender the ego thinking mind and let it go. Let go of every thought, opinion, and belief you have about this world right now. Let go of every judgment you have about me, yourself, and God. Let go of every belief or opinion you believe is right or wrong, good or bad. Hold on to absolutely nothing. And allow yourself to lean back into the power of love, life within. Welcome in any emotions you might be feeling right now and allow them to guide us deeper into our interior. To be still and to listen. And be still and know that I am the divine creator of all things. But not me, Martin. But I am, and you are. Jesus told us to follow him into what he called the kingdom of heaven, which is not a place to go, but a higher level of consciousness. Jesus taught us how to follow him into that higher realm of divine consciousness within all of us. And if ever there were a time to follow him, it is now. Follow his teachings into a deeper region within ourselves, to that loving, creative power that has created everything, including ourselves and our lives and each other. And open your heart with compassion for those who've yet to awaken to the love within themselves. Be still and know that I am pure, loving awareness, not me. Be still and know that I am not me. If you're still putting your hand on your heart and your belly, you can let them go and relax. And begin to just breathe into the mantra, I am not me. I am not me. I am not me. Welcome back. Please reflect on anything that came up to you during the meditation you'd like to share. We would love to hear from you. How are you feeling? Moment. There's no right or wrong way to do this, by the way. We just have to show up with love and gratitude for ourselves, for each other, and particularly for George Floyd. Love and gratitude for his life. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Y'all can probably hear, if you heard your left your speakers on, you can probably hear a fairly noisy neighborhood I live in. I love that. I love being in meditation with a quiet mind and listening to all the sounds of life around me. Children playing, next door neighbor celebrating her 5th birthday. Yeah. Yes. I see my friend Mindy just said, hello. Nice to see you, Mindy. Glad you could join us again today. Thank you all for joining today. And where we meet every day at noon Eastern Daylight Time. Yeah, they add to mine too. The sounds added to my piece and was not a distraction. Thank you. The same way for me. I had a meditation teacher once that taught me that if you really want to learn how to meditate, go sit on a bench in a crowded indoor shopping mall and just quiet the mind and listen to the world. Because that's what it's about. It's not about going into silence. It's going into deep inner silence, of the silence of the mind. So thank you for that reflection, Michael. And wow, this will be a day to remember. We are creating a new world together. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of noise in your head. It's not easy, particularly if you're new to this. It's not easy for me. I've been doing it for 40 years, and it's not hard, but in difficult times, I do find my mind going in and out. So just be patient with yourself, be compassionate with yourself, and enjoy those little moments when the mind stops thinking so hard. The mind's just doing what it normally does, what it's supposed to do. Yeah. So, yes, the mind's just doing what minds do. They think. The ego thinking mind is just doing its job. So we just have to be grateful and say, take a break. That's why I say in my invitation to join me, take a break. Give that ego thinking mind a break for a few minutes. It doesn't have to figure this all out. One that our children, their children, and the world can benefit from. We are building a new world, a new, as the old fear-driven. My belief is, as a prosperity coach and someone that works in the world of financial issues, is that we are, as the old egoic, fear-driven economic system that's built on scarcity, built on the lie of scarcity, implodes upon itself. It's giving us an opportunity to create a new world economic system built on the truth of who we are as people, as human beings, as loving people, as compassionate, so we can build a world and we can be in service for the betterment of others. And it's a movement. We're all part of this movement, and it's being led by a lot of wonderful, wonderful financial influencers. Tony Robbins, Ray Dalio, to name a couple. Marianne Williamson, Eckhart Tolle, some of the spiritual and some of the financial influencers are all saying the same message. And when you get Ray Dalio, one of the largest hedge fund managers on the planet, we're not talking about some crazy utopia. We're talking about a real economic world that's grounded in the truth of who we are as human beings. Creators, we are co-creating a new world of love and abundance and joy and prosperity that everyone can benefit from. Everyone has an opportunity to pursue joy and happiness in the world. And let it be so. May love and prosperity prevail, and I would love to see you back here again tomorrow at noon. It's been a wonderful. I'm looking at changing the format to be both a Zoom and a Facebook Live, if I can figure out how to do all that, so that some of you actually I can see you and you can react with me, which I think would be so much. I think would be so cool. So, with that said, may love and prosperity prevail. Thank you.